you're looking for Shake in a different part of town, though, Shake Milton had you covered because Joel Embiid had nothing. I mean, he finished the first half just 5 points, finished a game with 9 points. This is against a Heat team that he hung 45 on earlier in the week. So someone had to step up, and that someone was Shake Milton. And when you're hitting shots like this, you know it's your night. First of all, that could have been a foul on Milton. He hit Tyler Hero in the grill. Could have been a foul on Hero for getting his grill in the way. I don't know. But Milton knocked that down. Much stronger game for him. Later, Milton, 3 on the wing. Sixers player with 30 points and 5 assists off the bench in the last 40 years. He had 19 points in the first half, finished with 31. Let's go to the third quarter. Ben Simmons. Steal back the other way. Sixers take a 14-point lead. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 12 dimes for Simmons as Philly wins 125-108. Doc Rivers saying, as long as I'm here, I'm going to make Ben a better player. And he would be improving upon someone who is no stranger to triple-double territory. Career triple-double, number 30 for him. That's the third most by any player in NBA history in his first 4 seasons. He trails Oscar Robertson, and that mark looks well out of reach. 113 for the Big O, and Magic Johnson who had 47.
So James Harden is now in Brooklyn, and I mean that physically, not just spiritually. He got to New York yesterday, and the team will have a press conference today, 1 p.m. Eastern. When that happens, we'll bring it to you live. But if you're wondering when we might see Harden on the floor with his new team, the Nets do play the Magic tomorrow, and there is a game Monday night against the Bucks. Let's bring in our Malika Andrews now, who joins us via the phone. That's the schedule. You got the Magic, then the Bucks, so 2 games between tomorrow and Monday night. So when do we see him?
That's right. Good morning, Nicole. Well, what has to happen for James Harden to get out on the court with the Brooklyn Nets is not only does he need to pass his physical examination, but also every player that is involved in this 4-team trade, all of those players need to pass their physicals. Now, these teams want to get their new players out on the court. They're working to do this quickly, right? They do not want to be playing down to 8-9 players like we saw when the Knicks and the Nets played the other day. So they would like to see James Harden out on the court as soon as possible. It could be as early as tomorrow on Saturday against the Magic, but again, it will just depend on that physical. Now, Sean Marks, the general manager of the Knicks, said that he thinks that the Nets are going to have to use their practices, their games as practices to some extent because of the fact that they are on this schedule right now where they're playing every other day. They're going to need to cram a lot of that learning time into these games. But what he is hoping is that he can bank on largely the relationship that James Harden and Kevin Durant had before because they already played together, as well as the relationship that he had with Jeff Green from playing with him in OKC, as well as with the Rockets, so that they can speed up that process of gelling on the court when he does play, which could be as early as tomorrow.
Let's keep it right there with Sean Marks, and I'm glad that you brought him up because perhaps you've heard that Kyrie Irving is still a member of the Nets team. It's just that he's missed the last 5 games due to personal reasons, whatever that means for him. What are they saying about Kyrie?
Well, Sean Marks took questions yesterday for the first time about Kyrie's absence when he was doing a press conference, a news conference after the James Harden trade. And he did admit that the team was, quote, disappointed to not have any player with him, and in this case, Kyrie is what he said. But he also reiterated, and we've heard this from him now in statement form and when he was taking questions, that he wants Kyrie to speak for himself, Nicole. He is not going to be explaining his absence. He said that Kyrie is going to need to do that. And certainly he said that when there is a reason why a player is away from a team for personal reasons for an extended period of time, then that's something that can be and should be excused. But he again deferred to leaving that up to Kyrie to explain where he has been, why he has been away. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski and I reported that it is unlikely that Kyrie Irving will play against Orlando tomorrow. And remember, his return to the court timeline, that's not up to Kyrie. That is not up to the Nets. The NBA needs to decide whether or not he broke the coronavirus protocol rules by going to what appeared to be a family birthday party Sean Marks said he hopes that they have that decision soon. And when they have that decision, it will determine how long and if he needs to quarantine and when he'll get back to the court.
Just want to throw this out there. If Kyrie does want to speak for himself, if he does want a platform to perhaps do that, Randolph and I have a little show going right now. Maybe you'd like to join us. It's an open invitation. Thank you, Malika. Brooklyn has gone 3-2 in Kyrie's absence. And remember, the Nets and their new star, as in James Harden, they're going to talk today, 1 p.m. Eastern, anticipation of Harden's possible debut Saturday night against the Magic. So that's today on the noon edition of SportsCenter. Jay Harris and Nabil Kareem will have that for you on ESPN, both the TV and the app as well.
All right, he's not the first choice, but he's the first string Saturday in the divisional playoffs. Jared Goff will get the start for the Rams with a trip to the NFC title game on the line. John Wolford has been ruled out because of a neck injury that he suffered in the wild card round against Seattle. He was the preferred choice to start. Instead, it's Goff, who's still recovering from surgery that he had on the thumb of his throwing hand on December 28th. Oh, and it's going to be cold at Lambeau Field, Jared Goff.
It continues to get better. I think, it feels good. I'm in a good place with it. There are some, over time, just over and over hitting it. There is a slight soreness, but nothing that's hindering me in any way. Overall, it's progressing in the right way.
Jared, can you tell us why you're wearing gloves at practice this week?
Yeah, I'm considering it for Saturday. We'll see when I get there on game day and just want to get some reps with it. At times it can help with grip. At the end of the day, the weather won't matter and who wins or loses. We got to go out there and execute.
All right, it's time for weather on the nines here. Looking
I
at
want snow.
Green Bay, Wisconsin forecast. Projected to be about 35 degrees. However, AccuWeather's forecast, please stop with the voice. Real feel at 28 degrees.
Keep that going.
I was talking to myself.
Actually.
It's not great for Goff. Winds are expected to be around 10 miles an hour. One bright spot here, lack of snow in the forecast, which is good. But what's not good is Jared Goff's performance in cold weather games. He's a California kid. He's from Novato, California. He went to Cal and now he plays for the Rams in a dome. So here he is in Denver. This is October 2018. 25 degrees was the temperature at kickoff. He was sacked 5 times, threw a pick. And the Rams still won. They won 23-10 in spite of what Jared Goff put on the stat sheet. 1 pick, 201 yards, 14 of 28 passing. December of that year, taking on the Bears. Hear that, Ed? Bears. Now you're putting the whole station at risk. Jared Goff was risky. 29 degrees was the temperature. That's a wobbly pass there. He was sacked 3 times. Did throw 4 interceptions. 4. I don't even know what it is when you go once, twice, thrice. What's 4? 4 times.
Force?
There it is. Trademark it. Rams would lose to the Bears 15-6. An offensive showcase. So that's Chicago, Illinois. How about Blue Island, Illinois, representing on SportsCenter AM? NFL analyst, 2-time Super Bowl champ Rob Ninkovich is with us. And you're from Blue Island, and you played your college ball at Purdue, so you scoff at that cold weather talk. But in all seriousness, what concerns do you have about Jared Goff, thumb or cold, for Saturday?
Well, there's a lot of concern. I mean, look, I think he still has a pin in that thumb. So I don't know about you, Randy, if you've ever been out in that cold weather. The digits they hurt a little bit, especially if you hit something. So if you have a metal rod or pin inside that thumb and it's 20 to 40 degrees, I don't care. If it's not 82 and sunny like it is right now in California, it's probably not going to feel that great. And I can remember back to when in high school, I broke my right thumb and then I broke my left thumb. So I had 2 broken thumbs and I had a cast on both hands. I looked like an idiot, but guess what? It sucked. I'm not going to lie. And I wasn't throwing a football. So. Yeah. It's going to be tough for him, guaranteed. And look, going to Lambeau, it's a tough environment, even without the fans. 10-mile-an-hour wind, I mean, that can affect the football. So I think there's a tall task at hand for the LA Rams to go into Lambeau and get the job done.
Goff coming off a 9 of 19 for 155 yards and a touchdown performance in relief in the wild card win over Seattle. Picture those high school days with Ninkovich. How come Rob's not texting anybody back? He's like, I got casts. I got casts on my thumbs. All right, Rob, we appreciate the insight.
I don't think they were texting back in Nick's days.
No, Ninkovich is far younger.